Hello, guys. Sorry if I don't seem too thrilled, but we literally just finished recording the episode that you're about to listen to, and I've got Rick with me to help me explain why I fucked up.
Yeah, you do.
Every time after we finish recording, I export the audio into a WAV ready to edit, and I listen to it back. I mute him. I tell Rick, I'll be right back. I'm just going to make sure it's exported properly. Listen to it, and my audio sounds absolutely shit, and I had to reveal this to Rick. And Rick, do you want to explain how I did the boo-boo?
Well, I suggested a potential problem that may have arisen, and it sounded ridiculous at first until we tracked back until what was being done just before the episode. We were using Audacity. I say we, the royal we. It's the royal we that's basically just our host and Lord and Master Devon was doing a bit of editing on Audacity without the good mic plugged in. And then when he plugged in the good mic, every other program was like, oh yeah, sweet, we've got a better mic now. So I was listening to him over Discord and it sounded fine. Unfortunately, the recording was actually done through the laptop's internal speaker, so the internal microphone, and the results are not stellar, but hopefully still enjoyable.
Yeah, so basically this is a big apology from me and only me, because I'm the one who did the fuck up of my half of the audio sounds like trash. But as you can probably see by the length of the episode, we recorded for over 2 fucking hours. We can't re-record that.
Yeah, it's a very long one to re-record, and it's also, you know, a bit of a shame to discard it, because I think we had some good reactions in there. So, well, I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy the episode, guys. I hope you can get over the lousy sound quality for half of it. And yeah, we'll see you on the flip side. Thankfully, this is also an extra credit, so... Alright, enjoy the episode, guys.
Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Nonsense Review. Very specifically, we're doing another extra credit episode today because we just love you guys. I am your host, as always, Devon, and joining me equally as always is Rick.
Hello, hello, hello.
Now, if you're new to the podcast and specifically the extra credit episodes, we like to do this little thing before we start reviewing or discussing what we're actually watching today. And we have a little name for that segment. Rick, what was that name again?
It's Nonsense Asinine Hypotheticals.
So, in case the name didn't give it away, we come up with a question. Sometimes it's a normal, bog-standard question. Sometimes it's a silly hypothetical. And we basically just ask it back and forth. I'll give one to Rick. Ring? Rick will give one to me. So, Rick, are you ready for your question?
Sure, why not?
Well, fitting in with the theme of what we're watching today, I thought a good question would be, what video game that hasn't already had a movie would you like to see get a live-action adaptation, even?
Probably Metroid.
Has Metroid never had anything?
They kept threatening to do one, and I think it was Uwe Boll, who's known for really shitty video game adaptations, and it was gonna have Christiana Loken, who was the female Terminator in Terminator 3.
Okay.
It kind of cooled off and never happened. So I could be wrong. It could have actually happened, and it could have been so bad that everyone just never talks about it. But I'm pretty sure it never happened. So I'm gonna stick by Metroid. And if I turn out to have dodged the question with an invalid answer, then so be it, because I think it's got a lot of potential for essentially a solo protagonist driven movie where you've got all this physical horror that the protagonist actually has a way to fight back against, limited resources to do so.
How do you fuck up a Dead or Alive movie?
I think they only used like 2 names from actual characters and the rest of them were arseholes.
Oh right, they fuck up by not doing one.
They slapped Dead or Alive name on a regular martial arts movie that they made.
That's silly. On the subject of a Metroid movie, I did a quick Google. There is no Metroid movie, but there is a live-action fan film, which is apparently quite good, allegedly.
I may have to go check that out at some point.
Yeah, maybe it's good, Who knows? You got a question for me?
What invention would you undo?
That's a bit of a fucking tricky question, because you and I are very similar personality, Rise, in that we use a lot of tech in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to undo an invention, I don't know, man. Probably the fully automatic machine gun.
Maybe.
That is a weapon entirely used to kill lots of people quickly. Now, I could go ahead and go even further and say, undo the nuke, but, I don't care for nuclear weaponry in general, but you must admit one of the only reasons Japan gave up as quickly as they did was because of the, atom bombs. So that kind of served a purpose. And not any old fucker can get one of those.
The crushing instant defeat of 2 colossal bombs, the likes of which have never been seen. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that automatic weapons destroy more lives in a year than nuclear weapons ever have.
It's one of those where it's entirely because they're more common. It's like more people die every year to cow attacks than shark attacks.
Yeah. like, it's one of those. More people die on the road to drunk drivers on Tuesdays than have ever died to anything that people object to.
Well, this is a rather grim way to start a podcast, isn't it?
Death, doom, death, doom.
So, moving on from that pleasant topic, Rick, what are we doing today?
Something dropped rather recently, as far as I'm aware, and my only real interaction with this mythos is through a titty manga. We're watching the Netflix Dynasty Warriors movie.
See, I'm always very conflicted because I've spoken to a few people who are, well, I'm a fan of the Dynasty Warriors franchise, just for what it's worth, and the community, I don't know if it is anymore because I don't interact with them so much nowadays because I think modern day Muso games are kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I used to interact with the audience, the community used to be a 50-50 split on whether it was pronounced Dynasty or Dynasty. And I don't know if that's an actual conflict or if it's the difference between Yankee Doodles and Brits.
Man, before I even knew what the word meant, we had a Chinese restaurant near us called the Silk Dynasty, and I didn't know what the word meant, so I thought it was the Silk Dynasty.
Unfortunate.
But yeah, I know you've got a lot more love and stake in the franchise as a aficionado of the original literature.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said this on the podcast, but if I've not, if I have, forgive me, I'm going to repeat myself. But when I was younger, secondary school specifically, I played Dynasty Warriors 2 quite after the fact, and then I played Dynasty Warriors 2 before secondary school. But when I got to secondary school, I finally figured out that Dynasty Warriors was based off this book called Romance of the Three Kingdoms. So I picked up that book and I read the fuck out of it multiple times throughout the year. It was my favourite book. It's very dry reading.
Yeah, it is.
It's very much like this is a battle. It's historical fiction, which, if you're not familiar with the genre, this is the history. Events have been
dramatized.
There you go, dramatized, romanticized, if you will.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, for fuck's sake, the person who wrote the book originally was not even around during the time. We're talking like 2 generations, maybe a few more afterwards. And then Lu Guangzhong, who is the dude who translated the fucking thing into English, I believe, I might be getting that incorrect. Don't fucking it was centuries after that even. So, you know, it's a lot of hearsay to begin with anyway. But anyway, we could get bogged down, or we can start the film and I can reveal more facts that have been long lived dormant in my brain.
Yeah. For those of you watching along at home with us, this is Dynasty Warriors or Dynasty Warriors on Netflix. So 3, 2, 1, and go. Begin.
I was just about to say the same damn thing, you bastard. Now, this is a Chinese cast. The original language is Cantonese, and we're obviously watching with English closed caption subtitles.
Yep.
But we do that all the time anyway, because we like to hear each other while listening.
Yeah, I also just moused over the subtitle thing to make sure that it was actually in there. Oh, there is English audio.
There is, but with most foreign films, the English dub is usually lackluster.
Yeah.
Like, feel free to switch to English dub if you want. I ain't going to stop you.
I'm half tempted to leave it in the English dub because it just picked it up automatically. Yeah, I'm going to leave it in the English dub with English subtitles.
All right, fair dues. I'm going to have Cantonese because I like the Ip Man films. So, you know, I like the original dialogue in these things. Man, there's a lot of fucking logos in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're
like
fucking
7. And now we've got a epic music playing.
Yeah.
It's slow to start epic music on my end, at least.
It's not in there yet. I know we're going to get Lu Bu in this film at some point, and I hope they incorporate the epic Lu Bu music from the video games.
I can't remember whether Kanu Uncho was meant to be Lu Bu or Liu Bei.
Pass.
Yeah.
Dynasty Warriors is officially licensed by Koei Tecmo.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, that's very beautiful.
Epic music rises.
Now this
and
is
what an opening shot.
Definitely Liu Bei. It has to be. No, it ain't. It's Fort Master. This is a thing China likes to do a lot, which it gets on my nerves a bit, and that is everything is like they're technically correct. It is martial arts when you're using weaponry still, but like I wouldn't call warfare martial arts. I know they're technically correct and they can say what they want, but
Even though there is the one goddamn book called The Art of War.
yeah, I know. I get, like I said, I get it. It just doesn't sit well in my head because when someone says martial arts, I think fists, not weapons. And I know I'm wrong. You don't need to yell at me in the comments, guys.
If your body isn't the weapon, then you shouldn't be using a weapon. Like, it's I know what you mean. But yeah. Like, you can maybe stretch it to something that isn't regularly a weapon, like a scarf or a ribbon or, something like that.
I like how they're giving you a brief summary of the shit that led to the Yellow Turban Rebellion. They're not actually showing you. They're just like, this is what happened. This is what you need to know. That's all written on the screen. My God, this music's loud all of a sudden.
Yeah, it is. So here's the thing, like...
Oh, that's awful CG. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, whenever I see a place name in China, my main interaction with place names in China is just seeing where people come from when they apply to university.
Oh, yeah, because you had that job for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, I had it for a while, and there were a lot of Chinese applicants.
Man.
In fact, they were the...
Sorry, the actor they've chosen to use for Dong Zhuo looks very good. Spot on.
Yeah. Isn't he someone's dad?
No. But he does adopt Lu Bu at some point.
Right, okay, that's what I was thinking of.
But yeah, they're doing this really good thing where, obviously, well, I say good thing, they're taking stuff from the video game more than from history at the moment, because Dong Zhuo was notorious for holding his troops back.
Yeah.
Oh, and also in a minute we're going to see some magic, which has no basis in reality. Do you want to take a stab as to why the Yellow Turbans were called the Yellow Turbans?
Is it because they had white turbans and they all got turned yellow by magic?
In order to identify their troops, they'd have them all wear yellow scars on their heads.
Okay. It's very fucking video gamey, but oh well.
It is.
It's like everyone wearing the villain uniform for this moment.
Well, yeah, but that's for the visual representation of the film. But in history, they literally just had scraps of yellow cloth on their head. Is the point?
And now they're dying and turning into zombies.
Yeah, this is a thing from the video game. Hey, guess what's an easy way to make the stage more annoying and long? Oh, you finished.
Wizard did it.
You finished killing everyone. Go do it again.
Yeah.
And in case, I know you're not as familiar with Three Kingdoms stuff, but that's Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Shang Fei. You can tell by the designs of the humans, I guess, rather than characters, but you get me, right?
Yeah, Liu Bei is the one with the big old naginata, right?
No, Guan Yu.
Oh, of course it is.
Liu Bei is the one in the middle who's going to do probably more talking than fighting.
Yeah, because the Guan Yu weapon is a thing that just shows up in a bunch of things, and it's normally the one-bladed dragon naginata.
Yeah, it tends to be gets called the green dragon or blue dragon.
Yeah, or just takes Guan Yu as its name.
I believe the weapon is actually called a Guan Bao.
Yeah.
Because it's just a Dao sword, but on the end of a fucking massive pole.
Yeah.
That is fucking silly. I love it.
That horse is. The horse might actually preemptively get my MVP for the amount of fucking men on it.
Here's an interesting thing. Zhong Zhou is one of those characters who has gone through a few changes design-wise in the video game.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to be using his older design, especially for his weapon. In the new game, he chucks bombs at people. But in the old game, he had that awful-looking jagged sword that he's wielding.
Okay.
Yeah, just what I'd say. And yeah, this is...
They might...
Gone.
That was a very Muso move.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, as far as incorporating the Muso aesthetic into a film, they've done a good job so far.
Yeah. We're only a couple of minutes in and we're already...
Jesus. The heavy metal... borderline heavy metal style music that they have for Muso games. It's awesome.
Yeah. I jumped off my horse so I could kick you off yours.
Yeah. That's some video game shit, one might say. That's a fucking impressive shot.
Yeah, it is.
That's also bullshit. Can you do that in real life? In case you were mistaken this video game movie for a live action historical film. What the fuck is he doing?
He's embedded the bum of his...
That was some video game shit right there.
Yeah, he embedded the bum of his Naginata in someone's chin, and then used that person as a pivot to then start spinning around. Did his arrow sink? Oh, okay. He tried to cut the arrow in half, and it failed, and he still got shot by it.
Yeah, that's rare.
Yeah, normally it just straight up fails.
So you're getting English voice actors, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's the delivery on that?
It was slightly deadpan.
Oh, okay. Very, very noble, and I have purpose in the Cantonese.
It was like I swear to kill you today, for the glory of the Han Court.
That's lame. Here's the interesting thing. Even though it's based on the video games, Liu Bei traditionally has two swords. So it's very interesting that he's only using one. But if they're basing it on older games, then he did used to only have one, I suppose. So,
Fair enough.
This guy's got a weird shaped face. Oh, it's because he's fat. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, he looks a bit like a thumb.
And Niru is a historical figure. He was Dongjuro's strategist for pretty much until they both died.
Sure, fair enough.
But he never got given a character in the game. Here's another interesting thing they're doing. They're not calling them by their names. They're using their style names. So Liu Bei's Zhuande, Guan Yu's Yun Chang, and Shang Fei was what did he say, Hide or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so it's something they make a point of in the book, where everyone's got their given name, their family name, and their style name. Most people go by their family name and their given name, but sometimes they interchange a bunch of things depending on formality, because Asian cultures are weird like that.
Yeah, sometimes if you've got someone who's your superior, you give them the superior name.
So I'm going to assume that Cao Cao, when he turns up, or Cao Cao, I should say, is probably going to go by Cao Mengde.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this dude's Cao Cao, because he's that right level of evil.
Ominous music intensifies. He's an official, they're all ungrateful.
I like how Shang Fei's got a bit of a gut.
Yeah. Their skills might go unappreciated, but do you know who will go unappreciated? The fucking horses.
Yeah. Well, until we see red hair. After the death of rebel leader Zhang Jiao, the Yellow Turban Rebellion was quelled, but the Han Court was too far in decline to restore peace and order. As the Yellow Turbans fell, chaos resumed. A power vacuum caused local warlords to rise to power. 10 eunuchs begin monopolizing government power. All the while, Dong Zhuo leads. Oh, fuck's sake! You can't read that out loud fast enough.
It's really annoying when they've got a big old fucking gap afterwards as well, where they could have split it into 2 fucking title cards.
Yeah, but I'll give you the summary, right? The Yellow Turban Rebellion started because they were sick of how the Emperor was abusing power. And after the Yellow Turban Rebellion happened, the Han Court could never fully reclaim power because local warlords started rising up trying to seize it for themselves. And that ended up with Dong Zhuo taking the Emperor hostage and being de facto Emperor.
Okay.
But long story short, the Yellow Turban Rebellion was basically the catalyst because it could have been anyone that did that. Once the rebellion started, that's when stuff started going fucking downhill, and it was constant conflict from there.
Mm-hmm.
Also 10 eunuchs who tried to take power and they fucked up.
There just needed to be a rebellion. Doesn't matter who did it.
Exactly. That was brewing for a while. The common people are always get shafted everywhere, but in China, quite a bit. Yep, there he is. There's Dong Zhuo, and he's got some grey in his beard now to show that time has passed.
Yeah. And he's no longer carrying his big old stupid saw.
I think that's what he just sheathed.
No, but the one that you just sheathed is a thin sword, not the saw.
Oh, I get you. Yep, there's Sao Mengde. Dong Zhuo's going on about how he should take charge because the Emperor's a little babby.
Glorious purpose.
Fuck off. If looks could kill, right?
Yeah? That was really funny in English. You just went, Dong Zhuo, you traitor! How dare you!
We need to establish that Dong Zhuo is nothing more than a thug.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Now, eventually, we're going to get introduced to someone called Wang Yun. In fact, that might be the old dude in the background there.
Fucking child crying.
Hey, here's the Emperor. Right. Oh, here's another problem that the Chinese court had, or the Han court specifically had, and that is the Emperor that came before the Yellow Turban Rebellion had a fuck ton of concubines, as one does, and had a fuck ton of kids by different women, and all of those women, for obvious reasons, wanted their kid to be the next emperor.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. This fucking cocky prick.
Cao, yeah.
Now, back in the day, before they bothered trying to properly pronounce names.
Oh, people just read it out in English, yeah. You just go, Kaya.
Yeah, in the video games, he was called Cao Cao, and it was funny because his kid is Cao Pi.
Cao Pi!
Yeah. Fucking stupid. It was,
I thought you were Situ.
Oh, there we go, Wang Yun.
He said, pardon me for being frank.
It's one of these really awkward things where the things Dong Zhuo did are kind of things that happened anyway, except people were okay with it because it was behind closed doors.
And it was also their philandering asshole who was doing the rape.
More or less, yeah.
Oh, it's a cup. I thought it was just an ornament, and then he just takes a fucking drink out of it.
Hmm.
Table flip moment.
How animated are their voices right now?
Right now he's very understated, but it works pretty well for the situation. It's like, don't bother, I was just leaving, kind of thing. Yeah. Cow moos.
I love closed captioning.
Yeah. Is that a banana?
No, it's probably a bit of corn.
Probably not.
Not corn. Oh, here's another thing as well. Dongjuo's pretty much all of his retainers were like on the take.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, what's going to happen in a moment is Shang Fei's going to beat the ever-loving shit out of this dude. At least if they follow the book.
Yep.
This is always a contention amongst a lot of people because a lot of people have the surname Liu, including the Emperor at the time. And a lot of people claimed shared ancestry, but Liu Bei was obviously one of the one who got the most success out of that claim.
Fair enough.
And here we go. Yeah, he's beating the shit out of him. Now, in the book, it wasn't actually Li Ru; it was a nameless magistrate.
He looks a bit like a wolf, actually.
Oh, Shang Fei. Rick.
There we are. My brother doesn't need this post. The soldiers are here and the medal starts. Look at all the fucking generic soldiers.
Yeah.
They've done a real good job of making the generic soldiers look more low poly than the actual actors.
Yeah. You got to bear in mind, in the video game, they are all literally just copy-pastes.
Yeah.
And again, historically, this didn't happen. After Shang Fei beat the shit out of the magistrate, Liu Bei went, oh, this is bad. We can get in real trouble for this. We've got to bounce. So they all just left. But this is based on the video game where there's got to be a big old fight with millions of soldiers.
So actually, I have played Dynasty Warriors games, just not the Dynasty Warriors series. So even ones that are made by Koei Tecmo, that actually have the Dynasty Warriors title. So the first one I played was the Gundam one.
Yes, and I know you've played the Nintendo ones.
Yeah, I played the Nintendo ones. I played the Hyrule Warriors and the Fire Emblem one. Yeah, I do love a good one where you can just boot the game up, turn your brain off, and slaughter tons of dudes.
Absolutely. Although it's one of those where Tecmo Koei's been, ever since the PS3 era and DLC existed, they've always been real dickish with their business model.
Oh yeah, where they include a character in the base game and say, you can't use this person or their fighting style, and then they're like in the first wave of DLC.
But it's, you know what? Come to think of it, even ever since the PS2, they did the same shit because they used to release the base game, then they used to release Extreme Legends, which adds 4 additional characters, and then they'd release Empires, which gives you Empire Mode, which Empire Mode is the most fun version of the game, in my opinion. Like, they've always been scummy cunts. It's just they've been more obvious about it with DLC. Because as you said, they'll release the base game, and the characters are in the fucking game. You're just not allowed to use them unless you pay them more money.
Yeah. Man, it was really egregious in Fire Emblem Warriors, because there were only like 7 fighting styles, and there were so many damn clones.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a guy on a horse with a sword, you're basically Xander, no matter what you do. They have 2 on-foot spear fighting styles. One of them is for Oboro, the retainer, and it's a more traditional one. The other one is for Azura, the dancer. And Both of them are DLC. Before that, you couldn't have a person with a spear who wasn't either on a Pegasus or a horse.
Yeah.
And man, because they only took recent games in the first game to pick from, pretty much, apart from like a couple of standouts, they didn't pick any of the cool ones like Hector. How cool would Hector have been as a Muso guy, heavy armored, axe, and pretty hot-blooded?
Hector would be pretty cool, plus you could make a bunch of clones from him. That being said, I have no idea what the fuck is going on the screen, because this isn't from any of the games, and it definitely ain't from the book.
Rumbles, gasps. Their weapons are going away, apparently.
Oh, this is the Fortmaster dude that we saw in the intro. Dude? Lady? Is it a woman?
It's voiced by a lady in this.
Her voice isn't that feminine in Cantonese.
Oh, it's a lady. Sword Castle.
Oh, this is some video game shit which hasn't actually happened in the video game they're taking the piss out of.
1,000-year-old blood ore. The more opponents they kill, the stronger the weapons they become. "18 playable characters have created an alliance."
Okay, so speaking of the size of the roster, Dynasty Warriors has done this amazing thing where every game that comes out, they add more characters to the roster. Here's the problem. We're on 9. There are over 100 playable characters. What happens when you add more and more characters to a roster, Rick?
Your creativity stagnates, and you don't focus on any of them.
Yeah, every single character has become a Flanders. Every character has been stripped to their bare bones basic personality traits because you can't focus on them.
Yeah.
An interesting choice in design for Lu Bu. Or Feng Shan, if you want to use his style name. He doesn't look like the traditional Lu Bu from either the video games or any other version of Lu Bu from anything.
With the 2 goddamn colossal phoenix feathers coming out of him.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to tell you how he got adopted by Dong Zhuo.
Oh, he's got his feather back now.
Oh, yep.
Oh, here we go. Here come the feathers.
That looks like the Dynasty Warriors 5/6 version of Lu Bu.
Okay, I believe you.
So I'm just saying, man. Now, here's the fun thing. I hope they do it in the film, but they might not. So I'm going to say it now. When there's a fight between Shang Fei and Lu Bu, while they're crossing spears, one of the insults that Shang Fei throws at him is, "How dare you bastard of 3 fathers?" Because he's got his birth father who died, he killed his adoptive father, and then he killed Dong Zhuo as well, who was another adoptive father.
A self-made orphan 2 ways.
Yeah. Flying. Are they going to mention how he's the flying general, I wonder? An immortal trait is quite a fucking name.
I want to fight him and see if he's truly invincible like the legend says.
I'll be real with you, that's more or less the delivery you gave in Cantonese as well.
Oh, then I bring it up Salto.
Gave him the 7 dual dagger or some bollocks.
So we'll see. I was just pretending to be angry because there were so many people around earlier. Sorry if I offended.
Well, it's the first fucking rule of subterfuge, isn't it?
Yeah, pretend to be outraged because people can get behind that.
Mm. It's really interesting how many assassination attempts get stopped in the Three Kingdoms book just by the fact that there is a big, strong, scary warrior in the room. That's another thing as well. The reason why Zhou even had any supporters at all is he was very generous with gifts and prizes to people he thought were useful.
So his inner circle of patsies made out well.
Well, case in point, Lu Bu. Like I know they're saying that he stole his halberd from heaven, but his weaponry and armor was top dog's bollocks because Zhong Zhuo gave it to him, and his horse, which is a legendary horse that's meant to be unrivaled, is also gifted to him by Dong Zhuo.
Okay.
Everything Lu Bu has at this point is thanks to him.
Fair enough.
Now, here's the thing. I'm gonna show myself being a fucking nerd. In the books, one of the key plot points of this 7-star dagger is it's meant to be incredibly sharp. It can pierce through anything. But it just looks like an ordinary, non-flashy dagger, and that's what saves Rang Yun from getting implicated in the plot. Because they think it's the 7-star dagger, but it's not. It's just a rusty blade.
That's a very dangerous thing to say when you're.
They're playing with the myth/story a little bit here, but it works. Now, if I remember rightly, Cao Cao, as soon as he gets the horse, goes, right, I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge.
I really should get going.
I'm surprised they've not shown the Shaho cousins yet.
This is the part where, if it were me, I'd just go, I know. Dense music plays.
Mm.
And some NPCs bring him a horse.
Yeah. And here's the thing where some distrust starts to brew between Lu Bu and Dong Zhuo, because Lu Bu said all this shit to him, and it's not until someone else says it that Dong Zhuo takes it, in faith.
Yeah.
Action music's playing. 2 seconds before the sun comes up for it.
Yeah. Part of what I love about the Warriors format remixes of old game formats is the Muso metal takes on the music that they have.
Absolutely. Fuck, man. That guy got fucked. Piss off. Man, it's a good thing this is explicitly based on the Muso games, because if they tried to claim this as historically accurate, right? That was very cool, but very dumb.
Yeah. Just slash a bunch of balls of fire, and they all go with perfect accuracy up onto a balcony and burn all the guys that are shooting bows.
Yeah.
Sorry, shooting arrows.
Yep. Shooting bows works. Oh, a horse chase scene across roofs with awful CG when they zoom out.
Yeah.
Now, Lubu should be riding red hair here, which means it should be trivial for him to catch up to him. And yet...
They might take red hair as a thing that happens later in the lore.
But they said earlier on that they gifted Lubu red hair.
Okay.
I could have sworn anyway. I mentioned the Shaho cousins earlier, which were, in the games at least, the two earliest additions to Cao Cao's forces. And they've always been treated as brothers in-game, but in reality they were cousins, which in most Asian cultures, cousins and uncles and shit, they're a lot closer than, in Western society.
Unless you're of opposite genders and then you're free a game.
Well, probably, yeah. We'll not dwell on that, shall we? And I'm surprised how beat up Cao Cao's getting here.
Well, he just got pierced by his own blade, or a shard of it thereof, anyway.
Yeah, but earlier on before that, he's still been pierced by like 3 arrows already, which are still sticking out of him. Oh, wait, no, they got rid of them at some point.
I kind of like the idea that a forest scene like this could only happen on horseback, because only horses are automatic enough to...
Yes!
Power sliding on a horse!
Yes! I wanted an excuse to talk about this. There was an old Romance of the Three Kingdoms TV serial drama, again Chinese. Shang Fei did the exact same thing on a horse, and it's the dumbest, and I laugh and love it every single time.
Power sliding on a horse.
If you're not watching along, guys, you know when people do power slides on motorcycles? They just did that on a horse. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms the video games focus on Shu, Wei, and Wu, which are 3 different factions: Cao Cao's, Liu Bei's, and Sun Jian's, eventually Sun Quan's.
Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting how they've not mentioned the Wu side of things at all, and Wei's side of thing is just focused on Cao Cao. Or Cao Cao, sorry, I slip into Cao Cao every so often.
I mean, yeah, sometimes you will slip into the first thing that you heard. Or, even better, the first thing that you read, because, some of us read things before we hear them said out loud.
Absolutely, but I did play Dynasty Warriors before reading the book.
True, fair enough.
So I would have heard it first, is my point.
It's one of those. I never go too hard on someone mispronouncing something, because it just shows that they read more than they consume.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if we're going to get it, but there's an epic line by Cao Cao at some point where he'll just say, "I'll sooner betray the world than let the world betray me."
Okay.
And I think that's in response to, he thinks someone's about to turn him in for the reward, so he kills them. And it turns out they were just talking about butchering a pig.
Wow.
Yeah. Chen Gong's the dude who lets him go. Because they hide with Cao Cao's uncle. And they talk about butchering. He overhears people talking about butchering something. And he thinks they're talking about him for the reward. but they meant butchering a pig as a celebration for their lord's nephew for joining them for the week.
Huh.
Yeah, it's quite fucked up, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the glorious irony of fiction.
Mm. So Chen Gong's being all grandiose and purposeful to purposefully mislead his troops.
Yeah, because any one of them could be a someone that's been bought off deeper in the web, as it were. Man. Roast. A lot of the time, the subtitles and the dub diverge, but in this, they seem to have kept them pretty much one-to-one.
Yeah, I find that a lot with a lot of Netflix's anime.
Yeah, their dub script is exactly the same as their subtitle library.
Maybe it's a difference between Japanese and Cantonese then, because anime's more or less 100% in Japanese writers, and this is, I assume, people who write in Cantonese.
Like I know Japanese is more of an art than a science when it comes to translation. Like if you see a kanji, you can read it like 7 different ways depending on the context.
That's true enough as well.
But by the same token, if it's spoken out loud, then you obviously know the one that the people are talking about.
Mm-hmm. Funny enough, Chen Gong ends up working for Lu Bu when Lu Bu ends up becoming a traitor again. Oh, I think we are going to see him get freaking out over the pig thing. Well, sorry for spoiling that story for you, Rick.
It's fine. It's fine. It happened in inverted commas hundreds of thousands of years ago. Hundreds and thousands, not hundreds of thousands.
I think technically thousands. This was like 303 BC, I think.
Yeah.
Or it might have been AD. I really don't know the exact numbers. This is why I'm no good at history. I like learning about the events and the people, the dates and shit. I'm like, I really don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's events are one thing. The date is just a fact. Like,
I think it was BC because I think as the years go on, the number gets smaller. Is how I'm remembering it. So that means it must have been BC.
Sure.
You see, that's the thing as well that makes him think he's getting betrayed because they send people off to a different village. You know, from his point of view, you can see why he thought that. And they just said in the subtitles, okay, let's kill those 2 pigs. It should also be an early sign of what type of person Cao Cao is. If he sees treachery everywhere, that probably means he's quite a treacherous person.
Oh, he's definitely a treacherous person. We've seen it happen. Man, that was a very charged way of saying it.
Yeah. But like, let's say you're trying to butcher 2 pigs and they keep biting you, you would be angry when you say it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right, it all makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, and then they're locked in.
Hmm. All right, I forgot they had bullshit magic strength in this world.
Hmm.
I think that everything that has a red tint is what he sees and not what is actually happening.
Yeah, his Angie vision. Are they going to actually learn that?
There's the pigs with the rope.
Yeah.
Ah, you see? Oh, and it's an automatic stopper. Ah, gee, it all adds up. It's also a very good exercise in showing you how what you see isn't necessarily what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Oh, now here's this awkward encounter, which, if I recall correctly, Cao Cao's like, I'm not dealing with this, and just kills his uncle.
Savouring the dramatic irony of this scene.
Yep. Man, that's some good acting by that old man. Oh, that less so.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, that was a very subtle, very confused look, and then all of a sudden,
Very subtle, confused look, and then a fucking morph. Uh, Ooh, no, he got stabbed in the bum bum.
yeah, yeah,
Birds cawing. So the
yeah.
music playing continues. Man, whenever a beloved character dies, I just internally just go bye, 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 bye.
That is the Chinese custom, at least back at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I did what I had to do with an incredibly dangerous line of thought.
But I think we're going to get the actual line in a minute.
Yep.
It's a bit off, but it's the same fundamentals.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What a self-righteous dick, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I bet that said, he's always been a manipulative asshole with his own worldview. Because there's a story they bring up in the novel of when he was a kid, he had an uncle he fucking hated. So one day he pretended to have a fit. So his uncle ran off to get his dad to try and help him. And then when they brought him back to Cao Cao was fine. And he said, I swear he was having a fit. And Cao Cao's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then his dad disowned his uncle. Like,
Man. Man.
that's fucked.
I can't right my wrong, so I'll stay wrong.
Now, if you don't think this person's a villain,
Yeah, he's basically just tattooed evil on his forehead.
here's the problem as well: is the dude who wrote the novel and pretty much anyone who makes any adaptation, they've always framed Liu Bei as the protagonist and the ultimate good guy.
Yeah.
And later on down the line,
Like, as far as I'm aware, it is meant to be literally a 30 Xanatos pileup from three equally legitimate factions.
it's more about the conflict between Cao Cao and Liu Bei. Like you've got the third faction, but they're kind of inconsequential. If you get what I mean. Mm, Well, he ends up becoming a sort of emperor by the end of it, so he has a fuck ton of concubines and fucks like a madman anyway. So he doesn't care.
Just humps like a stun dog.
Yeah. I don't get why they're doing this. With this fucking ancient heaven weapons. Because it's not a thing that's been in any Dynasty Warriors game.
It's been a moment and a half since they abandoned this scene as well. I thought they gave the introduction to the super weapons and then were like going to have done with it, but like they're coming back to harping on about it now.
I guess so. I guess this is their way of explaining why the weapons are magic.
Even though those three have been doing magic shit beforehand. But less magic than Lubu's electric shit.
Yeah. That's the shit I was on about with Netflix, where they have a name come up on screen, but it's in Chinese, so you don't, or well, Chinese in this instance, so you don't know what it was. I assume it's Cao Cao's dad, who's still alive at this point.
Cow Bull.
Here's this secret decree that we're posting on a public notice board for everyone to see.
I think the secret is that it was a secret that His Majesty is the one that decreed it, rather than it just being a local missive.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and he's getting his Dynasty Warriors proper costume.
Yeah, that was a nice shot, actually.
It was.
CGI'd as fuck, but you know.
Oh yeah. CGI doesn't necessarily mean bad, but bad CGI is bad CGI.
Yep.
But yeah, his weapon's probably going to be called the Green Dragon. Get what Liu Bei's is called, and Shang Fei's is just the Serpent Spear. Oh, there you go, he gets twin swords now.
Yeah.
It's just the weapons they had before, but a bit more ornate.
Yeah, with a bit more fiberglass on them.
That being said, though, this is kind of how upgrades to weapons work in the game. It's just, this weapon looks a bit more fancy now, but it's just the same fucking thing. They've got. I'm wondering how many of the warlords they're actually going to show that signed up for the thing. Because we got these three. We got Cao Cao. We should have Yuan Shao, and we should have Sun Jian and his lot show up. Hopefully. And hopefully Yuan Shao is as much of a pompous ass in this as he is in the games.
It's rare that you hear drums being played as part of the OST, and you actually see someone playing the drum in universe.
Oh, they're actually going for the warlords that don't even have playable characters in the game. So
okay.
Hopefully we should see Sun Jian, and I hope his design's awesome. These guys are nothing in the video game, by the way. They're just names for nameless generic NPCs to kill. I should say KO because they don't actually have a kill count.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's one of those weird things in all Muso games. You haven't got a kill counter. You KO everyone. It's weird. I'll give them credit for doing more historical names than I thought they would.
Yeah, I would not have thought that would be how you pronounce that thing in English.
What did they say? Oh, sorry. Sun Jian, Sun Se, and Sun Quan all in one shot. Go on, sorry.
Yeah. I think they said Shai Vao, but it was Jubei. So
interesting. But then again, Cantonese is a very different language to English.
Yeah. It just boggles my mind that they'd even bother to transliterate it in a way that's completely non-indicative of how it's pronounced in the language that they're transliterating it into.
I get you, man.
Like, if your J is an X, then why not just make it an X?
Oh, I do like this. This scene's the thing I think it is. They're like, how many troops did you bring, Liu Bei? And Liu Bei's like, 3. They've all got costume changes.
Hmm.
But I suppose that makes sense, because everyone's getting their actual Dynasty Warriors outfit now, by the looks of it.
So it would seem. Yeah, Zhang Fei looks very wolfish.
Yes, he always looks like that in every incarnation of the character ever. Same with Guan Yu. Liu Bei's the only one who tends to get changes.
Sure.
If I remember rightly, they prove their worth by taking out a dude who is impossible to beat up until they take him on. Hua Zhong. That's a nice little moment there. I don't think we're going to get that far in the story for it to become a plot point, but Cao Cao has like a hard-on for Guan Yu.
Okay.
He really admires his abilities as a warrior and wants him in his army.
It's guy love.
Gay. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I thought it'd be funny.
True love between two guys.
Man, this is an ornate fucking secret cave you guys have.
Yeah, like a good old Buddhist temple.
Oh, that's the thing as well. A lot of people seem to forget that Sun Quan is a kid during this period, so I like the fact that they've got his character as a child. And oh my god, they've got Yuan Shao's outfit on point. Down to his foppish, stupid white hair. Tell me how posh he speaks when he talks, please.
True heroes aren't defined by their lineages.
I mean the guy in gold. Man, that guy's got an interesting nook, doesn't he?
He sounds like a fucking wrestler.
He sounds pretty brutish in Chinese as well. Cantonese, sorry. Dude, I used to play Romance of the Three Kingdoms, the strategy game. And if you ever played as Sun Jian's forces, the only thing you needed to know is don't fight anyone on land.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Remember how excited and then sad I got when I accidentally referred to Fire Emblem Three Houses as Fire Emblem Three Kingdoms?
So how foppish is he?
Mon Dieu, your wanted posters are everywhere. You've become quite famous.
It's a bit wooden, but yeah, I was going to say something. Yeah, it's a tactical decision to make Yuan Shao the leader of the alliance, because his name and fortune is known throughout the land. So if he's in charge, then it gives the rebellion credence.
Yeah.
Whereas if Cao Cao took charge, it's like, well, it's all well and good, but all he's known for at the moment is trying and failing to kill Dong Zhuo already.
Yep.
They haven't brought it up, but Sun Jian and his forces distinguished themselves during the Yellow Turban Rebellion by putting down a bunch of fucking rebels in other parts of the country where the other warriors weren't localized.
That's actually a pretty good way to distinguish yourself as a force.
Mm-hmm. I love Zhang Fei's fucking boisterousness. See how they're using their formal names.
Hmm.
The audacity of this prick to keep claiming this is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they're shoemakers. Yep. Shang Fei's a butcher, if I recall. I don't know, man. If you look at the size of the weapons of the two dudes flanking Liu Bei, you'd be like, wow, those are big weapons. They probably weigh a fuck ton. So they're at least strong.
Yep.
That's the thing I was mentioning a bit earlier. It's so good.
Yep.
I want to tell you what's about to happen, but I want you to see it for yourself because it's quite badass. Or at least if they do show it. Plus, I've spoiled things already without meaning to. So,
Troop numbers don't decide wars, courage and loyalties do. I.e., playable characters do.
yeah. It is one of those weird things where if you're doing any sort of rebellion or anything that requires numbers, why would you turn away anyone even if there is only a couple of them?
Yeah. In reality, though, if people like this were trying to join, you just stick them in one of the many armies.
Absolutely. The laughable nature of it is the fact that Liu Bei is trying to posture himself as someone of import, where up until this point he has actually done nothing.
Yep. The number of times I'm just parsing things in my head, and there's been a deluge of names, let's be honest, and like some of them get mixed in from other things, like Shang Tsung.
Oh dear. Well, in this scene, the only people that need to matter are these three: Cao Cao, the Sun group, and Yuan Shao. They're the only important people in the room.
Yeah.
They're the only characters who have playable models in the games.
Yep.
And you can't even play as Sun Quan because he's a child at this point.
Fair enough.
It's a weird fucking tradition that I was unaware was a thing.
Blood of the Covenant.
Oh, what a waste of glass. Even though it weren't glass, but you know. Yo, did you see Sun Jian's big fucking meat cleaver sword?
I saw him wave it around like it was nothing.
Hmm.
Was the previous Kid Emperor put to death already, or was that just something that was glossed over?
It's one of those weird things where in the novel he's just sort of he's deposed and no longer in power. But considering the nature of the time, chances are if there's another emperor in charge, they probably offed him off screen.
Yeah.
It's also been a while since I've read the novel, just FYI, so I only remember the key beats, as it were.
Yeah. A little bit of behind the scenes. We were actually planning to react to the novelization, but I think this is a way better way to have it digested on our behalves.
Well, I wanted to do like a book report type series, but it's a lot more effort on our end because, you know, you have to do homework. And I'll be honest with you, Rick, if I said homework and you didn't do it, I'd be pissed. And in case it wasn't obvious, it's a fake.
Yeah.
That's a good throw.
It was. Grand Chief Controller.
Yep.
It's like a fucking Thomas the Tank Engine rank.
Now here's
You were awarded the rank of Fat Controller. Man, that is a big meat cleaver.
It is. If they're going with old school Sunsei, then he's going to have tonfas, which will be interesting to see implemented on screen. It's going to be very interesting to see how they do the treachery within the alliance, because all 18, with them adding that caveat of the first person in the capital gets this awesome rank, it really motivates people to be self-serving as opposed to working together. Now, it doesn't say who that person was, but I'm going to assume it was Hua Zhong, because his name came up on screen in Chinese, and he's the only other... wow, there you go.
There we are.
Okay, well, now that I know Hua Zhong is going to be a thing, then I don't have to talk about that incident.
They're playing with minstrels.
I think we're gonna move on to Cao Cao's desire to recruit Guan Yu.
Hmm. Look at all that eyeshadow he's wearing.
Yeah, well, you know how whenever I create characters in games, they've always got deep dark eyeshadow around their eyes?
Yeah.
It's pretty much because, hey, most of the warriors in Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors games have a fuck ton of eyeshadow or face paint of some kind around the eyes.
Or get no sleep during their entire lives.
There's that too.
Cut. No sleep.
In case they don't go over it, because it looks like they're not going to, the reason why Sun Jian failed is Yuan Shu didn't want Sun Jian to get a bunch of glory, so he withheld supplies from him, so his troops couldn't advance properly. So,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
it looks like they're not going to go over that, because it looks like they're going to focus on Guan Yu and Hua Zhong's little duel, which hopefully the duels in this film are good. Like the one between Lu Bu and Cao Cao earlier, which was more of a chase than a duel, was pretty interesting visually.
Yeah. Ah, Buster Sword.
A little bit. Like a mini one.
Yeah. Buster Saber.
Mm. Oh, yeah, they're going to do the whole thing with the wine and everything, I hope. He's only Zhongzhuo's third strongest. Who's the second strongest? Second strongest must be Shang Liao, but they ain't mentioned him yet.
Maybe.
You don't need to remember his name. Spoiler. Oh, dude, I love this scene already because I know what's happening, and they're doing a pretty decent way of bringing it to life from the book with the Dynasty Warriors style. I'm surprised that they're on foot and not on horseback.
He took all of his clothes off.
Yep.
Which just removes all of his goddamn fucking protection.
Yep.
Like, it's only leather armor, but it's still armor.
Well, there's a scene in in A Song of Ice and Fire at the very end where Barristan Selmy has a fight with a pit fighter, and the pit fighter says, "I'll kill you," and Barristan Selmy's like, "I'm wearing plate, you're wearing fuck all. What do you think's going to happen here?"
Squelches. Soldiers cheering. Shot.
Ridiculous. I don't know if they're going to. You don't need to remember this guy's name either.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to do it in the show, but there's a point where Yuan Shao laments that Wenchou and Yang Liang aren't here because they're his two top warriors. What the fuck? Alright, listen, this fight scene isn't lasting forever, but it's very well choreographed, even with all the fancy anime shit. That's great. It's dumb, but it's great.
Yeah. Let a bunch of idiots take the, get their award up and up and up before actually doing it, no problem. Head whooshes.
Right, for the record, in the book, there's only 2. So I don't know why they're up to 4, but I think there's a reason why they're not naming them anymore.
Yeah. Because they don't actually have names and they don't actually have character models.
If you just killed 5 people in a row in one-on-one duels, would you not think, like, I've done my job for today, I'm going to go have a nap? Yeah, they're going to do the wine thing.
Running out of options, and more importantly, running out of wine.
It's one of those really dumb fucking statements of, why should we let you fight? You won't bring honor to us, you don't have a rank. And it's like, well, all your ranked guys got toasted, so what does it fucking matter?
Yeah. Steaming wine.
Oh, it's a plot point. It's a plot point. Remember that. To be fair, if I was one of those warlords, I'd be like, cocky prick. Could you tell that it's important that it's still hot?
Is it because it's actually boiled poison?
You'll see in a minute.
Yeah, right.
Was there any need for the flippy do?
Yes. We don't have a choice. Who are we gonna send next?
Was that actually how he sounded?
Pretty much.
That's great. I love it.
What are we gonna do if he takes another head?
Here's one of these weird things where Guan Yu is more skilled in war than pretty much anyone in Liu Bei's forces, even by the end. Shang Fei's deal has always been he's not as skilled or clever, but as far as brute strength goes, he is a beast, and like there's very few who can compare. Oh, I like the fucking little fucking continuous beat they got in the background. Stupid. Absolutely ridiculous.
All. Oh, they're all fucking off. Okay. They're not rushing him.
Yeah, what tends to happen in most conflicts in this era is 2 generals will fight, one of the generals dies, and then everyone from that side goes, oh, fuck this, and runs away.
Yeah. It's, like, even in real battles like that, would really help to, you know... It's better to take over a province that has people in it than one that doesn't.
Yeah. It's one of those weird things where, like, one-on-one duels seems to be a very Eastern thing in warfare, at least during medieval times, I should say. Well, this is pre-medieval, but you get me.
Whereas the Western medieval, pre-medieval thing was the people at the top sit in tents and direct their pawn pieces around.
Yep. Hey, do you remember before when that wine was steaming?
Is it still hot?
It might be. Yeah. For the record, that entire conflict with Huazhong lasts about 3/4 of a page. It's not. It doesn't take up much of the book, and yet it's such a defining moment in most Three Kingdoms uh, retellings.
Hmm.
Yep. Here's the 19th Regiment of three dudes.
Well, let's be honest. It's easier to get 3 hero units in and out of places in a clandestine fashion than it is to lead an entire army of 20k lads.
Okay, but for real, on that note, I've not played Total War Three Kingdoms. I've not installed it or bought it or anything. It doesn't really interest me because Romance of the Three Kingdoms strategy games are very good on their own right.
Yeah.
Going back to that same Total War Warhammer, because that wasn't too long ago, having hero units was so invaluable compared to actual units.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of exceptions to that. I think one of them is, I think his name is Imric. He's a high elf lord, and his gimmick is that he can recruit dragons with no cap.
Wow.
So yeah, dragons are a normal unit, except they're more valuable than even most heroes.
Yep, I can imagine.
Because they're goddamn dragons!
Yeah, dragons should be feared.
Yeah. So yeah, the Imric army is just one Imric, 43 dragons. You just click something on the map to be deleted. A nobody named Guan Yu.
Does he actually sound like that?
Yeah, he sounds a bit like that. It's not quite Mole Man,
But nearly.
but it's the there's another character in The Simpsons that talks a bit like that.
I get you. I get you. I couldn't tell you who you're on about, but I know what you're on about, if that makes sense.
It's like one that's halfway towards Droopy.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Sorry for the creaking right there. I had to reposition on my chair.
Oh, that's fine. I've done it like several times. But if you do it when someone else is talking or when there's nothing happening, I can get rid of it. Sorry about the behind the scenes editing notes, guys. That's staying in, otherwise you're just getting a minute of silence.
Yeah, thing is, normally when there's creaking I don't hear it, but that one was so loud I heard it through my open back headphones.
And you like to promote those.
They're very good. They're very good for getting a wide sound stage.
Fuck off if this hits anything.
Oh, it gained height!
As an archer, I find that egregious.
Gained height mid-flight.
He's probably saying, I want to fight Guan Yu, bitch. Fight me one-on-one. Fight me IRL.
1v1, no items, final destination, go.
Yes, that's the meme. We can call it a day. We finally brought it up. Yo, he's got a fucking. That's a cool looking armor set. I didn't think they'd be able to recreate that in a real life manner. I'm going to assume that's what his banner says, and they didn't just randomly decide to put that on the screen.
Cackles.
I'm going to assume that the more ruffian-looking troops are his personal guard, as it were. Because why else would they bother having distinction? That's a pretty good way of showing how intimidating a figure Lu Bu is, that just by mentioning him, 10 of your goods just went, I'm going home.
Yeah. Brought and took the whole fucking armies with them.
Well, he's definitely got red hair at this point. We know this now.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm going to assume that's the ruffians in the black armor.
Sure.
It is rather, like, not even really a victory, is it? It's like we killed one random dude who was pretty strong, but not even the strongest dude in their army. It's not really a victory, is it?
Yeah. He's not even the smartest man in the college.
So he comes up with a bunch of excuses for moving it, but the real reason is, hey, the rebellion is nearly at Liuyang, so I'm going to move to Chang'an, which is further west.
Yeah. Yeah, he's babbing himself. Okay, so it is the same horse, so it was red hair earlier.
I don't know how I feel about the horse not looking special in any way.
Yeah, it's not even decked out in regalia like your FF14 what got the word? I forgot the English word.
Mount?
Equivalent.
Equivalent.
The FF14 equivalent of red hair.
Right, yeah. Well, it's called red hair.
Yeah.
And it's red.
I didn't realise you were talking about the rabbit form of hair. I thought you were just saying that it's a red-headed horse.
Fair enough.
Because it is one.
I'm going to go ahead and take a punt and say this is Diao Chan.
Maybe.
How much do you know about Diao Chan and Lu Bu?
No.
Okay. Diao Chan is a maiden in the service of Wang Yun. And Wang Yun gives her to Dong Zhuo as a gift, as you do. And Dong Zhuo takes her, does horrible things to her because it's Dong Zhuo and he hates women.
Yep.
And Wang Yun's master plan is in order to make Lu Bu hate Dong Zhuo, Diao Chan is meant to be legendarily beautiful, so all she has to do is do gooey eyes at Lu Bu, and then Lu Bu will want to kill Dong Zhuo for mistreating Diao Chan.
Aww.
Yeah, and that's more or less what happens. Diao Chan plays it up, but,
It's actually a kind of cute plan, though.
Yeah, sort of. The whole reason Diao Chan goes along with it is because Wang Yun adopted her when she was like 2. So it's one of those weird, it's one of those traditions where you're my family, even if we're not blood related. So I owe you everything, which means even though I may not like this plan because I have to fuck Dong Zhuo several hundred times, I'm going to go along with it because you're asking me to, and you're my dad. That's gonna be how they do the rift in this show because it's PG.
Yeah.
It's not PG, it's a 15, but you get me.
Yeah. It's not an 18. It's a 15 because heads come off and you see a bit of blood. But if it were an 18, you'd see titty.
That's true. And they cut to black every time before Dong Zhuo did any proper...
Before he gets his jaw dong out.
Yeah.
He stabs himself so she trusts him.
It's one of those fucking blood pact things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just giving you that context because I've not established it yet. But just to say to you, all of this is premeditated. This isn't off the fly, her just deciding to go along with it. She knows who Lu Bu is.
Hmm.
And it's part of the plan. Unless they've changed it, because sometimes they fuck with it, which is kind of weird. But hey,
Yeah.
ugh.
It would make it cuter to make it not premeditated, but it's
It's one of those.
if they want to keep at least some degree of semblance to the original plot, then obviously they'll do it the way you said.
It's one of those where in the original plots he just kind of fucks off after Lubu strikes out on his own. In the video games, they always make it more of a romance between the two, where after Dongzhuo's dealt with, Diao-chan stays with Lubu, despite the fact she can piss off with Wang Yun and be her own person. So it's one of those where it starts out under obligation, but ends up being like, well, feelings actually develop. So it's not the best story in the world, but it's better than just, well, Diao-chan is no longer necessary to the plot, so she's just gone now. I get it, it's a dumb martial arts trope, but the fucking jump flying is very odd.
Especially when it's like a homing leap on a stage like this, where one misstep is a 620-foot fall.
Yep. That's true. Now, I know for a fact they're not going to go that far, so I'm going to talk about it. Yuan Shao and Cao Cao have the first major sort of conflict after Dongzhuo and Lubu are dealt with. And Cao Cao historically comes out on top and goes on to do great, great things. In the strategy game Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13, which is the one I played a fuck ton out of, if you leave that conflict solve itself normally with the troops everyone's given, they make Yuan Shao a lot more strategically smart than the actual Yuan Shao because he wins every time.
Okay.
He also starts in the best position in the game because he only has one front to work on.
Okay.
I like turn-based strategies based on this historical period. Leave me alone.
Seriously, it's very easy to get into a strategy game if you like the subject matter. Like, it's the reason that the Warhammer strategy games tend to do well, because Warhammer is rather engaging to people that buy into the ridiculousness of Warhammer itself.
Absolutely. It's a shame most of their games are trash.
Yeah, because they are not picky with the license. They're a bit slutty with it.
Well, like in the most recent, like ever since Dawn of War finished, the original Dawn of War, not 2 or any of that shit, they've basically given the license to anyone who's shown interest.
Yeah, absolutely. And anyone showing interest wants the piece of the Dawn of War pie.
Yeah. In case you didn't know who was the good guy and the bad guy, they've gone for a very Western approach of the good guy is in white and the bad guy is in black.
Yep. But this is our bad guy, so...
Yep.
So at least they keep him pretty.
True. It's not really so much a plan, is it?
Yeah, it's a goal, not a plan. I hope my wire fighting team is ready. Chuckles, laughing.
I find it so interesting that they didn't show the Peach Garden Oath, because they usually love fucking showing that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. They left the troops behind.
Well, like a lot of people might disagree with that sort of option to give to them, but at the same time, do you want them to leave now, or do you want to leave them to leave when you start fighting?
Yeah. When you're on the cusp of turning the tide and going from snatching victory from the jaws of defeat.
Yep.
That's not when you want one of your guys to defect.
Yep, absolutely. So they've vastly simplified it for the sake of the film, but this is more or less how Liu Bei gains his first lot of troops in the first place. So Liu Bei's entire empire more or less stems from him gaining the troops here.
Sweet.
Why? Why are you here? Just for the sake of the shot, I suppose?
So it would seem.
God damn it. It is very nice to see armies in cinema. If that does that sentence make sense?
Yeah, is it like cinematographically arranged?
Yeah. That's exactly it.
On a big old set.
That's the point. I don't think anything's going to beat the Rohirrim preparing to charge at Pelennor.
Maybe not. Like, Lord of the Rings really wrote the book on making an army look good with a mixture of practical effects and CGI.
Peter Jackson's gone on record as saying they did Lord of the Rings at the perfect time because they didn't have enough CGI to abuse it. Which is also him admitting that if he had more CGI, he probably would have done.
Yeah, so basically Hobbit films.
Yep.
So they had a script for randomizing the look of orcs.
Oh, okay.
And Uruk-hai. And it was basically, right, let's give them this wound, let's give them this imperfection in the armor, let's give them this mutation. Okay, that's now a unique orc.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the reason they don't look copy paste is because they're not copy paste. There might be out of 20,000, there might be 6,000 unique models, and yeah, okay, some of them are copy pasted, but you'll have to look far enough apart to see some copy paste going on.
Mm-hmm.
Scary horse.
Yep. I'm waiting for the Lubu theme to kick in, which it should happen soon. Now, if they follow the book plot, what should happen is Guan Yu should start off 1-on-1, and then Zhang Fei gets pissed off that he's not won yet, so he joins in, and then Liu Bei's like, oh, they're still getting beaten, I better help.
Oh, kind of cute.
It's also a really great way of showing how strong Lu Bu is, because up until this point, Guan Yu has been proven to be quite competent in his own right, beating Ha Zhong so quick, and Lu Bu starts to get the upper hand, and then even with all three of them fighting Lu Bu, it's still a fucking tie. Well, technically they win because Lu Bu retreats, but, unless someone gets killed, it's not really a victory, if you get me.
His ear vibrating.
It's probably because he can hear something.
Yeah. He heard someone fart in the distance.
Maybe. Oh, they're using fake troops because they're all made out of straw. That's what they were trying to show. That's really clever. Uh-oh. That's a really good way of
padding your numbers.
Yeah, and also doing it in film, because they normally don't do these sort of strategies in film. They just bullshit it.
Yeah.
I like that little laugh. That's pretty good. Fucking Muso music.
Dun, 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 dun. Action music plays.
Actually, that's straight up Lu Bu's theme at this point. With that fucking sick guitar riff. Oh, I love it. I'm trying my hardest not to just fucking bang my head like a prick.
You can bang your head as long as you don't hit the table.
There's no risk of that. I'm more worried about it like affecting the way I talk, because if you headbang, the inflection in your voice sounds silly.
Yeah. Last thing you want is to shake your head left and right, and your cheeks go all floppy, and you end up sounding like fucking Boss Nass.
I was just about to say, Boss Nassing it.
Yeah. Is this how they make an arena in Dynasty Warriors?
Like, actually, yes.
Yeah.
There's a thing we won't get to because it doesn't happen until the Three Kingdoms aspect starts being more of a thing. But there's a formation that they make up in the book called the Eight Gates Formation.
Okay.
Which is a bunch of soldiers creating a maze via their shields and pikes. And if you go the wrong way in the maze, it will spell death. But even though this is a man-made formation specifically designed to beat people, they leave one path that will lead you directly to Commander. Because they need to show off how cool strategists are.
Huh.
It's bullshit. It's not real. But, you know. That was kind of cool, but also on borderline silly.
Yeah, good old Jade. I like the little bits of Jade that come out of the ground when he bongs the ground and makes a little earthquake.
It's so Muso.
We're getting a fire-enchanted version of the big old whirly world that he did earlier.
Yep.
To show how he has grown with his new magic version of the same, with the same sword. Well, Naginata.
Yeah. It's a Guandao, but I'll let you have Naginata.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That was pretty cool, visually. Oh, Liu Bei's even got magic now, too.
Yeah, now that he's lost his super secret sword.
Yeah. I find it a bit weird that they decided to use Lu Bu's theme there when they weren't fighting Lu Bu.
Yeah.
And now when Lu Bu's going to show off his shit, they're not using Lu Bu's theme. Bit of a faux pas there, music department. Fuck off! Why is he bending the damn thing?
Oh, yeah, so he can do that.
Did he just make it a boomerang?
Yeah, he pinged it off he pinged it off, used the bending as stored force within the item.
Right.
And then it just boomeranged around. Yeah, because it's been established that it's already fucking Mjolnir.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right, here's the thing, right? Is they've kind of fucked with his weapon a little bit. Wow, that is a very cool visual, though. I'll give it that. But yeah, the that attack he did isn't something he does in the game. His special attack is he literally does a massive, great, big bang Kamehameha.
Okay.
Which is purple because purple's cool.
I think they're going to script to just having all three join in.
Maybe so. We've only got 20 minutes left of the damn film, so the climax is probably going to be Lu Bu running away.
And 20 minutes without credits as well.
True. That's a pretty badass thing to say to the certified most baddest dude in the country. At the time, anyway. Axe clinks. None of these people are using an axe. Just saying.
Explosion.
Fudding.
Chains rattling.
Clattering. That couldn't have been a more perfectly timed CC at the end there, just for me to have some. Okay, I'm not liking this, personally, from a visual standpoint.
Yeah, he can fly!
Yeah, was he just flying?
Yeah, apparently so.
I get what they're going for. I don't think it's working yet, but, you know, I might be being a bit harsh.
Why are they fucking... Oh, it's a waterfall. That's why they're surfing.
What? Are they back on normal ground? Oh, fuck it. It's just being silly now. Don't worry.
Yeah, the horse is running on water. It's a Jesus horse.
Running on water sideways, we might add.
Yeah. Weapons clank, both grunting.
I think they're on flat ground now. No mind, he's on the wall.
Yeah.
Alright, listen, I know it's part of the Dynasty Warriors game thing and it's a Dynasty Warriors film, but I think it's genuinely the magic aspect that's ruining it.
Feel you. Like, there wasn't as much magic earlier on.
If it was just the effects on the weapons as they hit, I'd be absolutely fine with it. And even the bullshit, like, big Muso moves are fine. But for a solid, 10 seconds there, we had a fight which was Lu Bu sending out lightning bolts while Guan Yu responded with fireballs. The music's very well timed.
Yeah.
That looked very silly.
Okay, so it was silly, but that was cool.
It's one of those really hard things to... They keep calling it an accent of subtitles and it's doing my nut in. But yeah, you're right. It's very not annoying, but weird. Because they're doing so much cool things in this fight, but some of it's just crosses the barrier of too silly. Yeah. Why are you not dead? Is your armor magic too? Because we didn't see that part.
No, we didn't. Except we did see them get a costume change when they came out of the spirit realm.
Except it wasn't after. It was after the time skip. They had the costume change.
Okay.
Because when they came out of the thing, they were just lying on the ground like they were recovering from a hangover. By the power of Grayskull! Oh, never mind. He's doing more of a Thor thing than He-Man.
Thorman.
Did you hear that ting that sounded a bit like Genova's theme?
Yeah. Doon 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 doon.
I don't know why I don't know where that's come from still. Are they going to stab themselves to power them up, are they? Are they actually going to stab themselves thinking it'll help? And if it does help, that's even more dumb.
I mean, Guan Yu's got an open wound right now.
Oh, that's true. They never actually fucking brought it up in this. The whole reason Guan Yu and Liu Bei met is they met in a tavern. And Guan Yu was in the corner just minding his own business. Because he was on the run for killing some dudes. This is stupid. That's even dumber!
Yeah.
Okay, how is Shang Fei, the fucking idiot of the group, doing his blood power-up thing in the most logical way? Do you know what I mean? Have I dropped again?
No. It's just,
Baffled into silence.
Yeah. Like, Guan Yu already had an open wound. Like, that was established. And he didn't pick any of them. And he had to make a new one.
No, he did put it across the wound that was on his chest. But he pushed it in even further. Like, why would you push a weapon into your chest where your heart is? Or, there's several vital organs there. That's one place you don't want to get stabbed.
Well, your heart is where your best blood is.
Well, and also, you got lungs flanking it.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
Here's the other thing as well. They've got Li Ru constantly tells Dong Zhuo, why don't you just give Diao Chan to Lu Bu? Because, like, look at all the concubines you already got, for fuck's sake, for one thing. What's one for keeping Lu Bu loyal? So Dong Zhuo's like, okay, fair enough. I'll do this. So he goes to Diao Chan and says, I'm giving you to Lu Bu. And then Diao Chan breaks down crying, saying, don't give me to Lu Bu. He's a brute. He did this, this, and this to me. So it's more manipulation on her part. Diao Chan's entire purpose is to put the two against each other. And then, again, once that's been done in the plot, she just fucks off. She just vanishes. She's written out. She doesn't even get an ending. She just no longer exists.
Man, fair enough. Like,
so I'll give Koei and Dynasty Warriors a bit of credit because they do more of it than nothing.
Yeah, even if it goes against what the character was meant to be, just expanding it more interestingly.
Okay, case in point, right now they've got it where she seems to actually genuinely care for Lu Bu, as opposed to being put up to it by Wang Yun.
Like, she's his morality chain.
And it looks like Lu Bu's actually won this fight and is just going to decide he can feel Diao Chan's pain and has to go now to his home planet. Which kind of sucks, but whatever. But peace, bitches.
Perfectly onto the horse, and then he fucks off.
Oh, listen, right, I know he collapsed straight afterwards, but that was a pretty badass pose of Guan Yu just standing there with that wound across his chest going like, come down and fight, you bastard!
Yeah.
It's only a scratch.
I kind of like when there's obvious posturing, and it immediately fails whenever the person they're posturing at is out of eyeshot.
Yep. So it's a very anime trope. I think the final thing we're going to see is Lu Bu killing Dong Zhuo. That seems like a logical place to end this, I suppose. Got 12 minutes left. They're not going to end it there, are they? Oh, that was a weird cut to black for no real reason.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I've moused over it, and there's basically 2 minutes of credits.
Yeah, cool, great.
So we got 10 more minutes to film.
So yeah, he burns Liu Yang to the ground as he retreats to Chang'an. So obvious reason for this is, hey, guess what? When the heroes arrive in town, they get a deep motivational blow by like, wow, the fucking city's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
No shit, buddy. That's incorrect. What happened is Sun Jian finds the Imperial Seal down a well.
Wow.
And because, I don't know why it's there, but that's where he finds it. And he goes, well, whoever holds this is destined to become emperor. And what he does is he pockets it and he goes, I'll give this to the emperor when we rescue him. And then he goes back south, and that leads to a whole other series of events, which probably won't get touched on in the film, so I won't go there. But yeah, that's not strictly true what they said there. Oh, okay. So they are actually acknowledging that it's a plot.
Yeah.
So until now, they hadn't, if I recall.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, like, they only had what we've seen, and you've talked more about the background in the greater universe than they've shown, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's 100% correct, by the way.
So it's implied that the prince is still alive still.
No. At the beginning, that prince got replaced by the other prince, and that prince is the one that Dong Zhuo is commanding, or has in his.
Sure.
They're doing a time skip, really? In the last 10 minutes?
Gentle music plays.
Far have they jumped? That's the question.
Um,
This appears to be when Cao Cao has a proper army under his belt, because they're blue flags.
Maybe so.
Well, that's Guan Yu, so maybe not. I think it's Guan Yu. It has to be, right? That outfit looks like Guan Yu.
Should be.
Oh, there's Shang Fei, so it has to be. Never mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, Liu Bei's got a proper army now. Oh, there you go. Liu. How far have you skipped forward, you stupid prick?
They're having to let you infer that yourself.
Well, that's South South, so I think this is only a couple of years where Lu Bu stole Liu Bei's land.
Okay.
That's my guess. Because I think they want to show the confrontation where Cao Cao and Liu Bei sit down, and Cao Cao says, "There's only two heroes in the world, and that's us."
It's a very manipulative thing to say, but also probably real.
But dude, it proper fucks with Liu Bei for the rest of the novel. So you're not wrong.
That's a really cute statement, though.
It is.
Why are you here? To drink wine and catch up.
Well, because at the moment they're both sort of again got a common ground, and that is Lu Bu's still alive, and that's a problem that needs to be fucking dealt with.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry, I think I spoiled something for you again. No. Dude, like the dude playing Yuan Shao's got a great fucking punchable cockhead face.
Yeah, he does.
Like they picked a good guy to play him. That's very fucking weird. Because again, he didn't ransack it. It was found in a well.
Maybe so. Well, like obviously you're saying that that's the one. That's how it went in the actual story, but
Sun Jian's one of those people who not a clever person, just very good at military affairs.
Mm-hmm.
It's very ironic, Cao Cao saying that, because he posthumously got known as the hero of chaos. Because if there wasn't so much chaos, he would not have achieved as much as he did.
Well, he even said it earlier that heroes are born of chaos.
True. Dude, I didn't notice it before, but I like the little fucking raven type head he's got on his shoulder.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it now. Now that you pointed it out.
Oh, they included that detail.
The lightning strikes just at the right moment.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. See, in the books, they don't make that very clear. Well, to start with, but like they are annoyingly similar, except one of them pretends they're not as cloak and daggery.
Yeah. Loyalty and unflinching composure are his two greatest strengths.
Funny enough, those are the two traits of his two brothers.
Yeah.
In case you couldn't tell, he doesn't put much stock in friendship.
Yeah. Or family.
Yep.
Evidently, at least.
But again, he's got his cousins Shahodun and Shahoyuan, who haven't even shown up in this film, which is very weird because they play big parts in the game as well. It's not like they're just from the book. I got to.
And the sky turns immediately black.
I think they're angling for a sequel.
Or a series.
Maybe. Instead of seeing more of this, what I'd actually want to have is I'd rather Netflix gets the right to that old Three Kingdoms series. It's like 200 episodes. So in depth and so accurate. It's great.
Pretty good, actually. So
obviously,
I don't know if I'd watch all 200 episodes of it, but you know.
Oh, it's definitely for someone who likes the lore, the history. Yeah.
I'm just here bopping to the soundtrack of the end credits, which is just more Dynasty Warriors Muso metal.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of supporting actors.
Well, they had a lot of red shirts.
True.
Very few of which wearing red by the end of it.
Very good.
Like some of them were red at the beginning.
Yeah. Man, I you know what? I know I gave it a lot of shit as we were watching, but it wasn't awful.
True. I might have been a little bit annoyed to have paid full price for a cinema ticket for it.
Oh, I would not. I would have been fucking livid.
Oh, guess what? Guess what Netflix is suggesting I watch next?
Oh dear, what?
It's something that's on our docket for later.
Beastars? I don't know.
Yep.
Is it actually? Why? What's that got to do with this?
I don't know.
It's vaguely Asian. That's the only connecting factor.
The Netflix just went, oh yeah, now that you've seen this, go watch Beastars, dickhead.
Maybe it doesn't have anything like this in your catalogue of things it thinks you like, so it's just picked a random thing on your watch list.
Yeah, something that I've seen at least 20 minutes of.
Man, this exiting tune is a banger, isn't it?
Yeah, although it's already gone into the fucking Beastars episode now, so I'm going to close it out.
That's fine. I'm watching the credits just so I don't preemptively start cutting up our dialogue. But yes.
Yeah.
How would you rate the English dubbing?
It was fine for a dub, but it was very obvious that some of the voice actors were more impassioned than others.
I get you, man. I get you. But it's all, again, you can't always pin the blame on the voice actors, because if the voice director says that's good enough, and they constantly do it, voice actors, as you probably well know, because you've dabbled, like, why would you be motivated as a voice actor if you put in the absolute bare minimum of work and your director goes, yeah, good enough?
Yeah, it's even if you know that a take wasn't good, like, sometimes the director just wants to get through more material very quickly.
Yeah.
Which sometimes ends up with a worse product, but you're not allowed to go back and redo something that you know was crap.
Absolutely. Like, Dynasty Warriors is a bit of a fuck, because since about, I want to say 6, they've not done English dubbing. And in 9, they brought it back, but they obviously either didn't have the budget for it or didn't care because the English voice acting was so terrible. It was awful. I went straight back to Japanese because, who gives a fuck? That I'm pretty sure there's a clip on my Let's Play channel of a bunch of bad Dynasty Warriors 9 voice acting. Like, end of credits, by the way, so I'm tabbing out of that shit. But, like, there's one for Sun Jian where I shit you not, this is how he delivers the line. It's, "Fear, the tiger of Jiangdong." That's the line read. I'm not a fucking expert when it comes to voice acting, but if I was in charge of direction, I'd be like, fucking do that again and do it like you mean it. That's no fucking good.
If it's no fun, it's no good.
I don't know, I could gripe about Dynasty Warriors going downhill all day, but let's stay focused. And, well, we're going to do our new segments, let's be honest. So, Rick, what was your moment of the film?
Basically, because I'm a basic bitch, just pick any of the Muso shots. Like, they were all cool. They were all designed to be cool. Designed from the ground up to look like they were ridiculously silly. Although, actually, no, I'll tell a lie. It was when the heads ended up in the planning, ended up in the war room.
That was pretty stellar. Like, it was silly, but it was fun silly.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the heads. Our favourite moment of the film doesn't have to be a cool shot. Sometimes it can be the one that is the most memorable. How about yourself?
It's a toss-up, because I could say the Huazhong duel between him and Guan Yu, but I think another moment edges it out, because I kind of enjoyed it, and that was the scene with Cao Cao thinking he was about to be betrayed by his uncle's men, and every time it was from his point of view, they had the screen go red.
Yeah, every time it cut to red, you got a slightly different perspective on what was actually happening. Yeah.
Obviously, I knew it was incorrect because I've read the source material and seen other forms of media.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was your first time seeing it, retroactively, you could be like, oh, everything in red was just what the character was thinking because he's in a state of paranoia right now because everybody wants to kill him.
A state of paranoid delusion.
And like with dire consequences, let's be honest. Moving on again, Rick, MVP.
I would have to say Cao Cao.
Oh, yeah?
He's basically the one big catalyst of this telling of the movie, at least. Like, I'm sure you can frame it from any other character's point of view, but it seems like he was essentially, maybe not the main character, but definitely the main catalyst of things that happened in this.
Well, if anything, I'd say that's probably to the movie's credit, because in the overarching story of the Three Kingdoms era, or even the Romance of the Three Kingdoms novel, for about 2/3 of the book, Cao Cao is the driving force, whether he be a protagonist or antagonist, because he kind of flip-flops.
In this, they framed him as a villainous protagonist. Like, he's not someone you should root for, but you need him to win for the story to continue.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're not familiar with the time period at all, are you?
Not really, no.
Ultimately, you could argue that out of the Three Kingdom rulers, Cao Cao was the ultimate winner. Obviously, it lasted not for very long, because it very quickly gave way to the Jin dynasty.
How about you? Who's your MVP?
I feel like the MVP is probably the costuming department.
Okay.
I think they did a fucking stellar job of translating the outfits from the video game into on-screen counterparts, and without making them look silly either, which is a hard thing to do.
Yeah, when your outfit's made of fiberglass, it's very easy to make it look over-designed and silly. Like, I think I even brought it up that even the least characterized people in that film, the red shirts, looked really good because they made a really cute effort at making them look like red shirts.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you had a character like Sun Ce, who they didn't even name in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it was Sun Ce because, hey, they made that actor, they dressed him up exactly like the character in the game.
Man, I'm pretty sure Sun Ce is the character that the main character of the titty manga of the Three Kingdoms is meant to be.
Almost definitely, because Chris has mentioned this to me before. But yeah, that more or less wraps it up quite nicely, unless there's anything you want to talk about specifically about the film that we missed, maybe?
I think we're good. We're getting a bit long in the fang on this one because it is a longer form episode with it being a 2-hour movie. So I'm quite happy to draw a line under it. So yeah, I just want to say to our viewers, listeners, and assorteds, if you have made it this far, you are our favourite people, and it's goodbye from me.
Yeah, I'll echo his sentiments and say goodbye from me.
Bye!